Translation, Pays Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu, is so experienced that by dint of his expert administration and patronage, it has been possible for you to perform a sacrifice such as this. Purport. The Brahmanas and the Sannyasis are expert in the spiritual advancement of the society, whereas the Kshatriyas or the administrators are expert in the material peace and prosperity of human society. Both of them are the pillars of all happiness, and therefore they are meant for full cooperation for common welfare. Maharaj Parikshit was experienced enough to drive away Kali from his field of activities and thereby make the state receptive to spiritual enlightenment. If the common people are not receptive, it is very, very difficult to impress upon them the necessity of spiritual enlightenment. Austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, the basic principles of religions, prepare the ground for the reception of advancement in spiritual knowledge. And Maharaj Parikshit made this favorable condition possible. Thus the rishis of Naimisharanya were able to perform the sacrifices for 2,000 years. In other words, without state supports, no doctrines of philosophy or religious principles can progressively advance. There should be complete cooperation between the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas for this common good. Even up to Maharaj Ashoka, the same spirit was prevailing. Lord Buddha was sufficiently supported by King Ashoka, and thus his particular cult of knowledge was spread all over the world. So, Homagyan Timilandasya Ganangala Shalakaya Shakshuluntanina Tasme Shigurave Nama Vansha Kalpata Ubhyasha Kripa Sindubhyaivacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. So here it is described that sage, priest, brahmanas, Vaishnavas, they have to cooperate with the rishis, the Raja rishis. It has been described along many scriptures that without the head of the society, the body cannot really wander to a certain goal, to a precise position for the welfare of the society. So, unfortunately, it's not that if the Shudra will mislead themselves that the whole society will be corrupt. No, it's the Brahmanas who has to be corrupt in order to destroy the whole body. And that's what was happening 5,000 years before in the name of Kali. In the story of Mahabharata, we can find that contrary to this age, there were many pious kings, and they were leading the people in the right way, with the right example. And everybody was happy. The earth was supplying sufficient food for everybody because the sacrifices were made. Actually, the sacrifices were a great way to inform the citizens of the power of the Vedic scriptures and to remind them that the holy scriptures that has been given by God are actually not only truthful but really potent. Because what Parikshit made in 5,000 years ago approximately, he made Ashvamedha Yagya. That means he sent the horse through the earth, and this horse is here as a representative of the king, and the other king can challenge the horse. If they do so, the war will begin into both king. And if they accept the horse into their field, they have to give taxes in order to give a sign of submission. So it was the way to submit the whole planet. And in this way, one king can administrate one rule over the world, and one nation, one planet can go in the same direction. It has been performed by Yudhishthir 5,000 years ago, and some personality like Shishupal has been invited because they have accepted the submission. And Bhima invited Shishupal because he was a charitable person, even if we knows that he was a demon. Still, he was following some Vedic principle to be charitable. So Shishupal was invited, and he was not accepting the purpose of the sacrifice. The sacrifice is meant for the pleasure of the Lord. That means that into the offering we chant mantra. The citizens are invited. So the whole society is there during those yagas. That means that the normal citizens, they can witness what is happening. They are purified by the mantras. They are not only purified by the mantras, but after they receive the prasadam from the yaga. So they are purified in this way also. And during the sacrifice, they can see the power of the mantra, because the brahmanas, they kill the horse or the cows according to what kind of sacrifice it is, and after they revive it by another mantras. So they can see that death and life has been given by Vedic knowledge. And so they try to manipulate or to coordinate their life according to the Vedic scriptures and to the Vedic injunction. So in those way, it was giving great example, not only by the king, but by also the brahmanas who were performing the sacrifices. And unfortunately, because of the forces of the Kali Yuga, the time has to go on, and the will of the Lord has to go on. The Kali Yuga is meant to mislead the people. Why? There is many reasons. It's also to make Mahaprabhu more greater, because when the sky is dark, when there is a big light, it seems to be even more bright. And that was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For example, Madhvacharya met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu almost 1,000 years ago. He met Mahaprabhu. It's recorded in his biography of Madhvacharya. That means our head of Sampradaya met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why? Because he went to Navadvip. And in Navadvip there is Aprakita Lila. That means there is non-manifested pastime. And those great souls, they can access to those pastimes, so they can meet the Lord in the form where he is eternally residing there. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told to Madhvacharya, you cannot actually preach the whole earth, the whole truth, because I'm here for this purpose, so don't steal my job. I want the full glories, and I will give it to my devotees after that. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is one of the reasons for the advent of Kali Yuga. We have to understand that there is 14 Manu, and one Manu is living 300 million years. So if you do the multiplication, and you have the number of years of time that you have the chance to meet Krishna, Mahaprabhu, and Prabhupada. That means there is many, many years each time you have the chance to see those three personalities. And we had the chance to come right after, next to Prabhupada, when his spirit is still prevalent in the ISKCON society. And we can find still Prabhupada live there through his devotees. We can still find Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through his teaching. So that means we have a huge chance in this Kali Yuga. Many sages were performing austerities in the Satya Yuga in order to come in this Kali Yuga. You have to know that. Why? Because they wanted to take part of this age in order to please the Lord, but also to purify themselves in such a simple and fast way. That means in the Kali Yuga, there is not only a bad thing happening, there is spiritual glories. Materially, it's totally chaotic, but spiritually, there is a secret weapon. And if you use it, this is the best of the 4 ages. So, we have to take this chance. And I will come back to those society ruled by Brahmanas, king who are advised by the Brahmanas. On those time, 5,000 years ago, what happens is the force of Kali Yuga came, and the Brahmana lost their power. They were not able to perform sacrifices and to revive the animals. So what happens is they notice, oh, we cannot revive the animals now. But they were proud of themselves, so they understand that this is the mercy of the Lord. Actually, He gave us the meat to eat and to share as the prasadam. That's what is written. So they were thinking, no, we don't have lost our power. We have to protect our position. So it's not our fault. It's the Lord who wants to give us the meat. So, but Buddha came on those time where the Brahmana were corrupted in this way to lead yagyas that they were not actually qualified to perform anymore. Because there is 5 actions we are forbidden in the Kali Yuga, and one of them is to not lead sacrifices who placate animals. Though that means there were not really conversant with the conclusive knowledge, because they will see that if they are not able to perform those yagya anymore, that means that's really the power of the Kali Yuga, and they have to stop. So those Brahmanas, they were only keeping their privilege, their position. And in this way, they were corrupting themselves. The Devi Varnashram Dharma were little by little replaced by Asuri Varnashram Dharma. That means not anymore by qualities but by birth. And the king saw that the quality of the Brahmana were degrading, so they were not taking advice and they were not taking them seriously. So if your counselors are degrading, you also will degrade. Because yasya yat sangatim pumso manivat sat satad guna sakuladvaitato diman na yutyan eva samsrayet. That means wherever you have association with, you take little by little his qualities. And if a great personality you are in trouble with, you should take shelter. So what happens is, in the Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gives an example to this verse, and he says, if you put stones like rubies, lapis lazuli, or something which has color, and you put into the light of the sun, the color will spread everywhere. So the objects around will take the color. And this is in the same way the king took the bad qualities of the Brahmana. And he wanted to keep his privilege, his position. That means he's the rulers, and as he has the money. So Kali knew that. And he told to Parikshit, I want to be in the gold, because the Brahmana will mislead the king, and the king will begin to use the gold in a unfull, unright way. And in that particular event, the king were not representing the society anymore. What does that mean? That means the society is misled by someone who has bad qualities, and they don't respect it anymore. In the time of Yudhishthira, the citizens, they were considering the king more dear than their own family. You imagine? That means when, for example, Rama went out for exile. The citizens were following him, and Rama has to say, please do not go anymore. It's my desire that you remain with my family and support them. In the same way, when Yudhishthira has to be gone from Indraprastha, the citizens were following, and they were saying to him, if there is no right king, there is no pious activities, there is no piety, the people will be corrupt, and if the people will be corrupt, chaos will come. And if chaos comes, no peace, no happiness. So we prefer to be with you. And Yudhishthira says, no, we have to go in exile, and it's our duty to go, and this is our duty to support the society with the Lord in your heart. So when the Kali Yuga happened, it was to describe Vidur was here in the gambling match. You know this gambling match, and he said that Duryodhana were advising to Dhritarashtra, we have to put the force of the Pandavas under our control. They have such a great palace. It has been built by Mayadanava. You see, he is the architect of the demon. And I've been humiliated in this palace. I cannot forgive that. I want to kill them in a way that, which is unrightful, because I don't have the power to kill them. They are more powerful than me. So I have a trick. Shakuni is master of dice, and they will take all of their wealth. Why? Because Yudhishthira, as a kshatriya, cannot refuse a match. Actually, he was able to refuse, because Krishna advised him, you can refuse. Many people advise him, actually, according to the scripture, you can refuse. But Yudhishthira wanted to show that, no, I have to show that my duty is to always follow the destiny that the Lord is putting in front of me. And as a kshatriya, I follow my duty, and I will not be blamed for that in any case. So they played the match, and Vidura saw that when Draupadi was disrobed, it was the beginning of the Kali Yuga. Never before it happened that a king were winning over one another king, not by proving his strength and his bravery, but by trickery match, which implies sinful activities, which implies deceitfulness, which implies lie, which implies sinful activities which are not according to the Vedic scriptures. So Vidur said, this man, Vidur advised to do that. You have to cease that, because gambling is the source of all sin. You have to understand that gambling means speculation. You don't believe that the Lord has the power to rule the destiny. You neglect himself. And in that way, there is Bhayam Dvitiya Biniveshatasya Dishadapetasya Viparyayo Smriti. That means if I have the wrong conception of the world, I put myself in the center, I'm under the illusion that I can become the rival of Krishna. I can take his place. And speculation begins like that. You think that you have the right to take not only Krishna's place, but energies of Krishna. That means you take the world truth according to your desire, and you use it for your own benefit without sharing. But Krishna, he has the kindness to put everything that he has under everyone's hand, until the point that he can use it for his benefit, for everyone's benefit. As long as we use it for everyone's benefit, and for him, obviously, first, he shares his energies and he shares his happiness. But as long as we use for our benefit egoistically, he tries to restrict ourselves, fulfilling part of our needs, but also giving suffering to allow the conditioned soul to rectify themselves and to come back. This is the mercy of Krishna. We have to understand that Yasyama Guru Anugrinami Arishitaddanam Shane Tatodanam Jajansyasya Svajana Dukadukitam. That means Krishna, his mercy is to withdraw the wealth. Why? Because when he gives pain to people, when he takes out the material benefits, we don't have any more choice to surrender to Krishna, to find another way to live peacefully. So we turn to the Lord. So this is when there is suffering, this is blessing. Kunti was praying, I always want myself to remain at your lotus feet by remembrance. If you have to make me suffer, please make me suffer if it's remembering Krishna in my heart. So in this way, Kali Yuga has many ways to make us suffering. That does not mean we cannot use that as a boon. The boon of Kali Yuga is there is so much suffering that we have no choice but to surrender to Krishna. There is so many suffering that people has to ask, is there another way? Yes, there is another way. And there is no other choice for you to be peaceful. Because if you are attracted to the senses, if the pulsion of the senses, and the whole society is not based on that, you will never be inside yourself steady. You will always go here and there. And you will not be able to achieve actually control of yourself and happiness. So, when the king is contested because he has no pious activities anymore, no example to give, what happens? You know the history? The merchant, they try to raise revolution amongst the mass of people. So they say to the people, the king is using all the taxes for himself. He's actually enjoying women, wealth. He's not giving us according to what it should. So we should take the lead by ourselves. We should cut the head, like in France, of the king. So this is what happened. Everywhere the king in the Kali Yuga were not able to represent what should be a great man. You have to understand that the king in those age, they were leading first the war if they have to do. They were the first in the battlefield, first to give their lives, first to take the risk for the welfare of the citizens. And these citizens, they were so respecting the king that they were they have trust in him. So whatever the king does, we accept that. But when the king is he has a behavior which is not inspiring, we do not follow him anymore. So revolution happens. So here now we are on the stage where the Kali Yuga is not is fully blossom, because when the merchant has the power, they try to create monopolistic through their way to their societies. But when the Shudras, they are leading the society, there is anarchy. Because the Shudra, they don't care even about laws. Because they don't need laws, they don't even care about trading. There is only laws, actually. The laws of the human society are only established to favor the transaction between country to country. So it's only made for increasing the wealth of everyone. So gold is a way to bring failure between ourselves. It's meant for us to bring non-cooperation. You know what Prabhupada said about ISKCON? He said, if the Kali Yuga has to destroy ISKCON, it has to come from within. So within our society, we have to preserve the purity of what Prabhupada gave. In the past, when Prabhupada died, Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda Shri Golanitai Shri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman Ki. When Prabhupada died, he never dies, of course, but at least his body left this world, partially because he's still in Samadhi. So, when Prabhupada left this world, what happens is there were no protection, there were no really head, a powerful head to lead the ISKCON society. So this movement has started with mainly holy name, after the books were distributed in the street, and after slowly books and money. And finally, when Prabhupada left, it became at a certain point really money orientated. The books were even secondary, what to speak of the holy name, because we cannot even make big money with the holy name, except if it's really based on big record, festival, and so on. But people were so money orientated to maintain what Prabhupada has given to us, that they were selling records of Mick Jagger, of the Beatles, something which is not really connected directly to Krishna. So in this way they wanted to expand, in this way they wanted to maintain. But the thing is, money brought separatist and egoistic tendencies. So people were trying to get that for themselves. They wanted to be the leaders, and to with this money they felt they were so powerful. So in this way, Kali used this money against us, because we were not enough united into the aim that with this money we have to serve Prabhupada. But money is not the goal. The society nowadays wants to use money as the goal, but it's just a mean to achieve better purpose, to facilitate the life. But the goal that Prabhupada gave to us is, you have to use the holy name, you have to use the philosophy in order to establish Krishna in your heart. And the more you will be pure, the more you will be able to preach and to change. Because consciousness is not a matter of money, it's not a matter of big temple, it's not a matter of actually even quantity, it's a matter of quality. So one person can change the whole world, because Krishna is in his heart, and Krishna is the supreme proprietor of everything. That means whatever his pure devotee wants for us to achieve, for him to achieve the pleasure of Krishna, or the pleasure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is to save the fallen soul in this age, Krishna will give. So we have wonderful verse, which is Yaledika Tareka'a Krishna Upadesh. Hamara Gana Anatarawa Guru Edesh. That means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in tour in South India 500 years ago, and he met a Kurma Brahmana. This Kurma Brahmana was so affectionate toward Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he didn't want to leave him anymore. He invited him several times to eat, and he found that personality, the Lord is so great, I cannot separate him. I cannot have separation, I cannot suffer this. But Chaitanya says, no, please, you don't leave your wife, your children, and you don't come with me to take renunciation like that. You stay at home, and what you do is you chant the holy name. And whenever there is people coming to your house, you do Krishna Upadesh. You give instruction of Krishna in the form of Bhagavad Gita, in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. And in this way, you will not only become a guru for the whole society, but you will liberate them. So, our duty, if we want to satisfy Krishna, Chaitanya, we have not only to chant the holy name, we have not only to teach knowledge, but we have also in the aim to become guru for others in order to liberate. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says just after, Kabu nabadibe tomara vishaya taranga. That means your material life will not be impacted by the discrepancies of the Kali Yuga. Why? Because after he says, Punarapi etani pabemora sangha. Because if you follow my instruction, I will be always with you. That means we should never fear Kali Yuga, because as soon as we follow Chaitanya's instruction, he is there to facilitate all his mission. So, in this way, there is many examples in the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that money and Kali Yuga were there also. It's not that all the devotees around Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were pure devotees. No, there were also mixed devotees. Who knows the story of Bhavananda Vaninatha Roy and Gopinath Patanayaka? Do you know this one? It's a really wonderful story which is related to how money, how wealth can attract us and bring disrepute amongst devotees and neglect pure devotional service and the instruction of the Lord. How? Because one time Prataparudra, the king, the pious king, the pure devotee, he has a counselor, Gopinath Patanayaka. And Gopinath Patanayaka, he was considered a pure devotee of the Lord by the other devotees. But actually, there is a question about that. Why? Because he was collecting taxes for the king. And he was not really giving to the king what he should do. He was keeping money for himself, giving to his family. And with that money, actually, Chaitanya came to know that he was dancing, he was a great show with women, great prasadam, and so on. So he was using this money for his son's gratification. Even though he was dedicated to Mahaprabhu, the material facilities came upon him and attract him. And he was using the association with Mahaprabhu as a protection, because the king was enamored with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's behavior and qualities. So he had in love all the devotees. So sometimes we understand that we can have the dress of a devotee, we can pretend ourselves a devotee, but we are actually not acting in this way. That's what the Brahmanas 500 years ago or 5,000 years ago, they were doing like that. I'm born a Brahmana, so I'm a Brahmana. But Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, for example, challenged them. You say that you are a Brahmana, you say you are Goswami, prove it. Show me your purity. Show me how you serve the Lord. You are not doing anything. You are just taking for yourself. So I may not be born in a Brahmana family, but no, I will give the standard of what is a Brahmana. I will give second initiation to Brahmanas. The Brahmanas were so infuriated by that, they were attempted to kill Sarasvati Thakur. In the same way, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says to the king of Jagannath Puri, you take the money of the Lord of the temple, the donation from the temple for your own wealth, you should now give 52, 54 offering per day. Give that, and until now it's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur established because of his mercy. And the king was saying, no, I cannot continue like that. I give so many of my money now to Jagannath temple because of this Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So let's do a sacrifice and kill him. The sacrifice missed, and finally the son of the king died. So the devotees are not only protected by the evil intent of the Kali Yuga, but pure devotees, they do revolution. They do revolution like Prabhupada. Prabhupada was revolutionary in his way. He introduced women in temple. He gave second initiation to Yavana people. You cannot imagine what in those times it is. Even his god brother says, what have you done? They call yourself Prabhupada, but Prabhupada is Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. Why did you take that name for yourself? Why did you initiate those people who has no qualification? Why did you give sannyas to them? They are not ready. Why do you think that women can go into the temple? So in many ways, Prabhupada was mistreated. In many ways, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was mistreated. And in many ways, our predecessors were mistreated. But in the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gopinath Patanayaka was using that. He has the dress of the devotee, but we are not acting really according to the behavior of a devotee. And what happens is, still the devotees had affection to him. So they came to Mahaprabhu and they asked, please, can you do something for Gopinath Patanayaka? Can you talk to the king because he likes you? And can you make that Gopinath Patanayaka will not die because now he has been taken in his money. He has been taken in his trick, in his thief activities. Because Gopinath Patanayaka was taking money for himself, but at one moment it has been caught. So the sanction was he has to be killed for that. And it was his right. But Mahaprabhu says, I don't care about that. I'm a sannyasi. What are those material activities? Even if he says that he is my devotee, the money of the king is more important than the good of the brahmana. If we should never use for our benefit the money that the society has given to us. So let him to be killed. But the devotees were insisting. At some point, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so furious that he said, if you ask me to go toward the king, I will leave Jagannath Puri. That's it. I will leave you all. So one day, the king, Prataparudaya, came to Kashi Mishra, and the Kashi Mishra said, listen, there is one of the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and many of the members of his families, they were taking possession of your money in an undue way. And because of that, when your son has decided that they have to be killed, please protect them. The king said, of course, I will protect them. I like the devotees. So the sanction should be forget. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, please keeps the sanction. Devotees has to lead the example. But he says, if he thinks that he has the right to live, let's pray Jagannath. So he prayed Jagannath, and at the time where he was supposed to be killed, the sanction by the king has been taken away. So we have to understand that not only wealth is attracting ourselves outside of Krishna's instruction, opulences in general, the name, the fame, pratishta, puja, wealth, that means Aishvarya, all this can be used to satisfy our senses. So we have to understand why I'm here. Is it to please Krishna? If it's yes, then you try to find more reason to love him. If it's no, that you have to try to correct yourself. Because what happens if you do not really, if you have mixed motive, the result will be mixed. You will have not so much happiness materially, but you will also not have so much happiness spiritually. So, there were this society corrupted by Kali, and the devotees were trying to compete with Kali to reestablish the Dharma, the Sanatana Dharma. And Krishna sent many pure devotees, and the duties of the disciplic succession as of the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya is now to preach and to help, to change the holy name. To maintain is the thing, to expand is the thing. But actually, I will say the main purpose of your life here is to be Krishna conscious. And if you want to please Prabhupada, you have to first become Krishna conscious. Prabhupada says, I would do one pure devotee, and I assume that my mission is a success. So what is the value of pure devotee? The value of pure devotee, he has all power within himself. So if we want to achieve the perfection, if we want to please our spiritual master, the main goal should be, I should be Krishna conscious. So I will not go further because the time is going out. So I will just finish on one verse like this. At least we have one the stating that Gokoti Danam Grane Kagasya. If you gave millions of cows in a time of eclipse, if you do Prayagya, Gangadaka, Kalpavasa, if you reside on a holy place during one kalpa, if you do Yagya Yutam, Merusuvarnadanam, if you gave the amount of gold, if you gave in gold the amount of the weight of the Mount Meru, which means you can count, and if you do 1,000 sacrifices in the Satya Yuga, Govilde Kilter Nasamam Satamshe. It will not be even equivalent to a Namabas. Namabas means you can chant. Actually, Namabas means I do offenses but not voluntary. For example, Shishupal, it's considered that he did a Namabas when he was doing offenses during the Rajasuya Yaga. It was opposite. Sometimes Muslims, they say, haram, haram. But inside there is Rama, you know. So it's also Namabas. If they say before death, haram, they go to the spiritual world with Ram. If they say haram, actually, most of all the sin are going away. Even if we say Raja Rishi, Raja Maharishi, Raja, there is Ra, and the second word there is Maharishi. So if you connect the both, it do Rama, same thing. So, for example, in England there is Prince Harry. Yes. Each time the people, they look at Prince Harry, you do not imagine the benefit in their heart. So in this way, Krishna has so many tricks to purify people, because his name is so potent that even if you say it without the knowledge, without the purpose, even if you say it in an opposite way, look at those devotees, they are like jokers, you know. What they doing, those Krishna, those Hare Ram, it's nonsense. You know, even if they say like that, Namabas will purify their heart. So this is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Vekivalam, Karunasti, Vanasti, Vanasti, Vagatiranyata. There is no other way. He has to repeat it, because otherwise we are many branches. We think, okay, I can do that, okay, I can do that, I can do that. But everything I do is actually to support the holy name. Why? It's because this is the most powerful things. So I will finish on that. And if someone has any question, I will take. I'm sorry, actually, people can leave if they want, because it's already time to take prasadam. But those who want to ask questions, they can.
Can you repeat that verse that you just mentioned?
Gokoti Danam.
Sorry, the reference.
Oh, the reference is. I think I can give you after, but I think it is Brihan Naradiya Purana. And I can check, but I know it's come from a Purana. Either Padma, either Skanda, either Brihan Naradiya Purana. I'm not sure. I will can give you after. And, okay. That's all. So... Nitai Gora Premanande Grantaramat Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Gora Premanande Jai Shri Prabhupada.